So I overheard, Bobby, you talking about the fact that you probably lead the all-time in Cooperstown playing games at the Hall of Fame here, Hall of Fame field, Doubleday Field.
I don't know if I'm the all-time anything, actually, but it was quite an event that teams used to come here, and Hall of Fame weekend before the inductions, Major League teams used to play in Doubleday Field, and it was a schlep. You had to get a bus from somewhere and drive. You can't get here from anywhere really, but so you had to drive a bus for hours after a night game and play a game, and then schlep out and play a game somewhere else the next day. And the guys weren't too happy about it. I liked it because my friends and family weren't so far away. They could come up, get up close and personal, and see the hallway they were here. So it was always a fun thing for me. I think I played 3 games here, maybe 4. Ralph's 90 years old now. He's the last living member of the 1947 Brooklyn Dodgers when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. He's a fabulous person. He's in the hospital as we speak, and I'm praying that he gets out and he get that smile back going. But Ralph was a special guy, no doubt about that.
Remember, Bunker Hill, the Alamo, the Polo Grounds. If baseball is about caring, about loyalty and rivalry, then it's about what happened on October 3rd, 1951. The Dodgers and Giants met in a final playoff game to decide the National League pennant. The Dodgers, the team that invented the cry, "Wait till next year," surely had it won this year. No matter who was pitching for the Dodgers, the Giants couldn't possibly win. Unless you keep in mind that baseball is about heartbreak and miracles.
Brooklyn leads it 4-2. 1 out, last of the ninth. Barker pitches. Bobby Thompson takes a strike call on the inside corner. Bobby hitting at 292. Barker throws. There's a long strike. It's going to be, I believe. The Giants won the pennant. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the very back of the left field stand. The Giants won the pennant, and they're going crazy. They're going crazy.
Yeah, they made a lot of money together after the pitch, so I think that's the silver lining.
Yeah.
That they became friends and they got to capitalize on it. Not really that stick out. I did 4,000 games in uniform, so they were all memorable. They were, when you get your first hit or your first win or somebody else gets their first win or first hit or first error or first time your mom's at a game, first time your dad's at a game, first time your brother's at a game, all those firsts are wonderful. And, then there were a lot of events over the years that I was lucky enough to be part of, including, who knows, no-hitters and championships and guys getting called up for their first day and guys getting released on their last day. They're all rather memorable. Three. I played center field for his first, managed his 6th and 7th. Yeah, he was 24 and first one, I believe, and 43 his last 2.
Did you find that utterly remarkable at age at that time?
I find it remarkable now, for sure. Then he was, a teammate who was still playing. He was a hard worker, no doubt about it. But, when people marvel at Cologne at 42 doing what he's doing, and I think of Nolan Ryan at 43 doing what he was doing, it's pretty remarkable. I spent the most time with the Mets. I think, the Dodgers were my first team that I was ever with, and the Yankees were the team that I grew up rooting for. So I don't know what hat it is, but, 4 decades of playing or coaching or managing the Mets is a long time. Playing for Tommy Lasorda, so I think was the best in breed, and if I could have emulated him, and I would have, but there's only one Tommy Lasorda, but I did learn a lot from him. Senior advisor to teams, I didn't kiss everyone's butt along the way. So to think that I'm going to stay in the game isn't something that I want to do. Just to kind of hang out. Like I say, I'm a senior advisor. I pick up the phone and advise, but I do my own life, and that's great.
You got into a variety of businesses, and baseball wasn't your sole part of your life.
Yeah, I thought about it the most, but I never depended on it. So I'm lucky for that. I'm a lucky guy. There's a lot of lessons, and if you think that it's a cookie cutter that we're in, it's not. You do it your way. You have to do it the right way. You got to know the difference between right and wrong, and you have to do it all day long.
When you were playing, was there a pitcher that you just said, I really hope he's not pitching today?
Not that many. Ferguson Jenkins gave me a lot of trouble.
The pitcher that you would like to go out and say, this is the 7th game of the World Series, this is the guy I had in my stable that I really would like to go out, who's a gamer, a real gamer.
Rick Reed probably was a real gamer, and I always trusted him with the ball.
Offense that he would need. Now the 2-2 delivery. Strike three called. The game is over. The Mets have won it. 12 strikeouts for Rick Reed.
Terrific. Thank you, Bobby.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Best to everyone up in beautiful New York.
That's right. Home of Lucille Ball, by the way.
The redhead.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
A real hero of mine, Bobby Valentine.
Ryan, that was terrific. Thank you very much. And I sent him an introduction. And because he's a friend and a Met fan, he finished the introduction, so I'll finish it for him. Because right at the end he says, I'm the only guy in the history of the world of baseball to manage in the American League, in the National League, and in the Professional League in Japan. And I'm the only guy to ever be fired in the American League. But he's a really good guy, and he did that. Thank you. He mentioned that 9/11 game. It's interesting, if you walk through the hall, the hat that I proudly wore is in the Hall of Fame, along with the lineup card from that day, September 21st, 2001. And, the hat has a story, and I have a lot of stories, and I'm not going to just stand up here and see if I can continue this amazing endurance contest that you're all competing in. Beer outside, 20-minute bus ride, do some cocktails, sit around and listen to speeches, have hors d'oeuvres, dinner, and then listen to a speaker, and you're all still awake. God bless you. This is good. You can develop anything. I'm going to tell you what, you can develop anything. Yeah. The story behind that hat is that interesting story in that when I did convince my players, and we all remember that time. I'm not going to bring anybody down by bringing back maybe memories we don't want to bring back. But when we went down to ground zero, and you remember the heroic efforts that were being made to try to see if they could get anybody out of that horrific rubble. So many first responders there, and we brought down Met hats that we were autographing and giving out to guys. And one NYPD guy came over and said, Bobby, I'd be so proud if one of your guys would wear my hat in memory of my friends that were lost when you guys start playing again. And on the 20th, we opened up and we played in Pittsburgh. That was the first game back, and that's the game that God Bless America was sung for the first time in the 7th inning stretch. And that game we wore first responders hats. I bought some, brought them down, and different guys wore different first responders hats. We get a phone call the next day that we're going to now play the first game in New York from the commissioner's office saying, you can't wear those hats. They're not licensed by MLB. You have to wear new era hats. And I said, oh yeah, I forgot. We'll definitely do that. And so we went out for practice. Yeah. We went out for practice. practice wearing our Met New Era hats. And when the game started and everyone took the field, I had every first responder hat. Now, there we only had NYPD and NYFD hats in Pittsburgh. Now we had all of the services, and I handed them out to the guys, and they went out. And it's not documented anywhere, but you could see them throwing their hats back into the dugout as they took the field and putting on their first responder hat. So that's what's over there. That's a real proud moment for me. You'll see all the records, and you'll see a lot of people honored. But there's two records. People who hold the records aren't there. You know, the guy who has the most hits in the game and the guy who has the most home runs in the game. They aren't in the Hall of Fame, and I think that's quite odd. Don't mention it. We're in Cooperstown. Someone will blow me up on the way out of here. But I think that's odd, except for until you start thinking that the way to get into it is by the vote of sports writers. And the last time they got anything right, I think, was in about 1923. So I manage over 4,000 games. I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I do this one stupid thing, and that's what everyone knows me for. And what it was is that I got thrown out of a game. But I didn't just get thrown out of a game. If I could just we have 2 minutes for the backstory on this one?
Absolutely.
Okay, he said because he's a Met fan. He said, sure, Bobby, go ahead. It was, we were doing really well. And then we were doing really not well. We lost 5 games in a row. We were going to play the New York Yankees. That's not a good thing for the New York Mets in those days because they were always better than us. But we were taking this bus from Shea Stadium over to Yankee Stadium. We'd play them after the game. We'd take the bus and go back because they wouldn't let us drive our cars into the Bronx, thinking that the Met tires would be slashed and all that stuff. Well, we lost the first game against the Yankees. We lost the second game against the Yankees. And after the second game, and we got off of the bus, I did my press conferences. I did the stuff I had to do. I did my shower. I came out of my shower. My 3 of my coaches were still in their uniform. They're sitting in my office. I said, what the hell are you guys doing? Don't worry. Put your hands up. We'll get them tomorrow. It's only 7 games in a row that we've lost. And they said, no, you won't get them with us. We just got fired. I said, I didn't fire you guys. He says, no, your boss fired us. So they had just come down from the general manager's office. 3 of my best friends were fired and no longer part of my staff. I had to go to Yankee Stadium and have a press conference and say, why didn't I show loyalty to the 3 guys who got fired and quit with them? And I said, because I think that's what someone wanted me to do. And it's not what those 3 guys wanted me to do. And as this press conference got a little confrontational, one of the guys in the front row from the New York Times says to me, Bobby, you should have left with them. You're going to leave soon. When are you going to turn this thing around? I said, when do you want it turned around by? He says, by September 1st. I said, how many games are there between now and September 1st? He said, 55. And I said, well, we'll go 40 and 15 in the next 55 games. And he said, and if you don't? I said, I'll quit. Now, this is something you could Google because it's out there. So, we're talking about the mustache. So I now manage a game with 3 coaches who weren't my selection, and I don't really like these guys at the time. I learned to like them, but I didn't like them back then. We won. And the next game we won. We had a game at Shea Stadium, and Brian might remember, I don't know, Bill, if you guys remember, someone out there might remember, we were winning on our way to 55 games, on our way to our 40 victories we won 2. And we blew the lead in the 9th inning, and I called a pitch out in the 10th inning, and this guy who's going to the Hall of Fame, Mike Piazza, is the catcher, and he got the sign, and he stepped out to catch the pitch out and caught it and threw it to second, and they called the guy out at second until the home plate umpire said, Mike Piazza just caused the catcher's balk. The runner's safe at second. Mike started yelling, wanted to get thrown out of the game. I intercepted him. I said, you can't get thrown out of the game, Mike. I already pitched hit the other catcher. He calmed down. I calmed down. And then as I was walking away, I went back and I said, Phil, can I get thrown out of this game for what I'm thinking? He said, no. And then I told him what I was thinking. So he threw me out of the game. But now what the manager manager has to do when you get thrown out of a game, you have to turn this thing called the lineup card over to the second in command. Well, the second in command were one of those three guys that I hadn't talked to in the last 3 days. But I gave it to him when I went up into the clubhouse, and Robin Ventura, who now is managing the White Sox, who I had pinch run for, was up in the clubhouse. He says, "What are you doing up here?" I said, "They threw me out." He says, "You got to go back down there. Those guys don't know who's in the bullpen. Go back down there and manage the rest of this game." I said, "What are you, crazy, Robin? They threw me out of the game. They'll throw me out of baseball if I go back down there." And he threw me a hat. And he said, "Put this hat on." And then he threw these sunglasses in and put these sunglasses on. I said, "Robin, it's a night game." He says, "No, put them on." So I put them on, and I walked into the trainer's room to look in the mirror to see what I looked like. I had taken my uniform top off. I was in a t-shirt, I had a hat, and I had the glasses. And then I reached down, and they have these little stickers that just peel off, and you put underneath your eyes when the sun is bright. And I took one out, and I put it over here. And I took another one off, and I put it over here. I looked back at the guys, and they went, "They'll never know." Well, I went out there to give a sign. When I gave a sign, the TV camera saw me in the dugout. Everyone started laughing. We got a hit. We won the game. I congratulated everyone after the game. The commissioner next day read this article that was written by the guy who wanted me to quit, who's now trying to get me fired, said it was the worst thing he had ever seen in the whole history of the game of baseball, and I was disgracing the game of baseball. I should be thrown out of the game of baseball. I wasn't thrown out, but I was suspended 3 games and fined $10,000. So that's the mustache story. Yeah. In 15, we had a game to play to get to 40 and 15, and the reporter showed up for the first time since that press conference. Before the game is ready to start, he sticks his head in my office and he says, "I hope you lose. It's the last game you ever manage." And I said, "Great seeing you, too." That's not what I said. But for the dinner, that's what I said, okay? And he laughed, and we won, and we went 40 and 15, and we went to the playoffs, and that's really the rest of the story. And, you can Google it, too, if you like. 40 and 15, yeah. I thank you all for letting me share some of my time with you. I know it's late. God bless you all. Good luck, New York. Yeah.